Making music at home has never been easier. Today in this video, I'm going to show you the equipment needed to getting started building your very first home recording studio and get you started in producing music in the comfort of your own home right now, today. Here we go. I want to welcome you to episode 1 of this brand new channel called The Mattman Studio. My name is Matthew, aka Mattman. And together we are going to start from scratch on our musical production adventure. And in order to do this, we need gadgets, technology, equipment to produce our musical ideas. So without further ado, here are some items to consider when building your very first home recording studio.
Item 1, the computer.
Yes, you need a computer. Yes, it's probably the most obvious on my list, but a lot of people underestimate the power that your computer has to be. So the question to be answered is, how powerful does your computer have to be, and why does it need to be so powerful? Well, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, if you've purchased a computer within the past 5 years, you probably don't have to worry about power as much as using a computer that is 10 years old, which you probably need to upgrade, by the way. So you're wondering, what in the heck am I talking about? Well, there's 3 things you want to consider when purchasing a new computer. That would be your CPU, your RAM, and your hard drive storage. So what are those? I look at it as a CPU being the brains of the computer, the RAM helping the brain, CPU, multitask. So it's your multitasker, and your storage is to place all of this data in one place to save it. So that way you have it for the next time. And you can also add to that storage by having an external hard drive, which is basically a little device that you plug in with a USB that adds to that storage that's on your computer. You can also use it to go with you wherever. It's a portable device to take with you wherever you want to go. Why do I know all this? Well, my computer over the years has crashed on me several times after working on it for hours and hours. Lost tons of data, tons of recording sessions. It sucks. It really does. And to prevent that, I would recommend a minimum of 16 gigabytes of RAM and at least 500 gigabytes of storage, because you can get way more than that for external storage. Because right now I use about 2 terabytes of external storage. So that way I have enough room to save tons and tons of recorded software, plugins, tracks, everything. With all that being said, you probably want to invest most of your money into your computer, because this is the centerpiece of your recording studio. It's the heart of it. You know, it's where you're able to see the recordings that you make. This is where you're able to edit, to save. You know, you need to consider these 3 items, so that way you don't have any issues or problems of crashing, of losing data in the future.
Item 2, the DAW.
Seriously, man. Now, what is a DAW and why is it essential to your recording studio? Well, A DAW, or digital audio workstation, is a software or platform used to create, edit, and record music on your computer. This will allow you to be able to visually see what you're doing when it comes to producing and recording music. Now, without this software, you probably wouldn't be able to professionally record or produce your music. Now, you might be more familiar with a DAW than you realize. You probably used GarageBand on your iPhone. That's a DAW. And you probably used it to annoy your friends and family, which I am definitely guilty of. But I've actually witnessed a band use strictly GarageBand with an iPad and a Mac computer and professionally recorded their album. Like when they were done, it sounded like it came from a multi-million-dollar studio, which they didn't want to pay. So they decided to use just GarageBand. It comes free with Apple products. Well, you're wondering why is that? Why does it sound like a multi-million-dollar studio? Well, they took the time and effort to learn this software, and it ended up being a success. You know, it's something that you could do, anybody could do, as long as you know how to use the tools provided. Now, there are many DAWs to choose from. How do you know which one to pick? Well, let me tell you a secret. The best DAW is a free DAW. And you might be wondering, how am I going to get one for free? Well, we're actually going to talk about it a little bit more in item number 3, which is your audio interface. Typically, when you purchase an audio interface, it comes with plugins, software, and comes with a DAW. Take advantage of that, because some of these DAWs can cost anywhere between $200 to $1,000, if not more. Or, you know, some of them like Pro Tools are subscription based, which will cost you about $30 a month. But go with a free version, or anything, any company. Cubase, Pro Tools, is probably Pro Tools first, which would be free. You know, it allows you some time to get used to the software, get used to the tools, and be familiar with what a DAW does. Now, if you already have a DAW, I would like to know your weapon of choice and why you decided to go with that software. You can let me know in the comment section below.
Item 3, audio interface.
In my opinion, the audio interface is probably the second most important item on this list. Now, if you didn't have an audio interface, you probably couldn't record quality music. Now, what is audio interface and what does it do? Well, you know, it's basically the gateway. It's basically a gateway connecting your instrument or vocals to the software on your computer. Now, during this process, the audio interface takes your analog signal and converts it into a digital signal, so that way your DAW can process the audio signal that is coming through. Now, how do you use this audio interface? Well, it's very simple. Audio interface kind of looks like this. This is the Focusrite, the Scarlett Focusrite 2i4. I've had this in my studio for years. But all you gotta do is take a USB cable, plug it to the back of your audio interface, and then plug the other end of your USB cable to one of your computer USB ports. Now, you might have to install some drivers and stuff. I mean, there's gonna be, once you get this out of the box, there's gonna be instructions on what to do as far as downloading your software needed to use this. But as soon as you plug that baby in, open your DAW, you can either plug in a XLR cable to the first input, like that, or an instrument cable, like this. and the second channel. Now with audio interfaces, especially with the Focusrite, which I love this feature, is you can either plug in an XLR cable or my cable into channel 1, or you can plug in an instrument cable into channel 1. Now, this tool determines the quality of audio that you put into your computer. Now, the higher the quality, the better your recordings are going to sound. So if quality is key, how do you choose the best audio interface? Now, as an industry standard, you want to always look for a conversion / sample rate that is at least 24-bit by 192 kilohertz. Now, you might not know what this is now, but trust me, you're going to want to look for that as a standard. There are also other features you want to consider when purchasing an audio interface. Are you wanting to record just yourself and your instrument? Or do you want enough room to record a whole band and a drum set? This is going to determine how much inputs you're going to need and also determine the budget that you have.
Item 4, the microphone. The microphone.
Now, I recommend at least getting one large diaphragm microphone that is perfect. That is a perfect, well-rounded microphone that captures a wide range of frequencies. It's a very sensitive microphone that is great for capturing a lot of detail in your vocals, great for acoustic guitar, great for drums, piano, basically anything you put in front of it. Now, the mic I'm using right now, which is the AKG P220, also happens to be a large diaphragm condenser microphone. I've been using this microphone for years, works great, highly recommend it. Now, this microphone happens to be a powered mic that requires phantom power or 48 volt power to be turned on. Now, to turn on this phantom power, it's usually a little button in front of your audio interface that has 48 volts labeled underneath it. Now, this sends power through your XLR cable to the microphone for it to be able to work. Now, if your microphone's not working, it's probably because the phantom power is not turned on. Now, not all microphones require phantom power. Like this classic dynamic microphone called the SM57, which is a great microphone for high volume instruments like a guitar amp or a snare drum. Now, this mic is also well-rounded and can pretty much record anything. Now, I'd be surprised if there was a studio out there that did not have this awesome microphone. Now, what's also great about this high quality microphone is that it's under $100 and there's no need to spend over $1,000 on a quality microphone when you can get this bad boy for cheap. Now, if you're getting overwhelmed with all the gear I'm listing right now, don't worry about it. I'll have a list of gear recommendations along with the gear that I'm currently using in the description below. Item number 5, the headphones. Invest in good headphones. This will save you the headache of bleed through when recording. Now, trust me, I would go through a whole take with my acoustic guitar. I would do it perfectly on time, on the right notes, everything, just to end up hearing a click in the background, extra noise or fuzz or whatever going on. And then I would have to spend hours trying to edit this to take out the noise, take out the click, or try to cover it up with something just because I wasn't able to edit it out. It's not worth the time. It's not worth the headache. Get a good pair of studio grade headphones that typically have a closed, or you typically want to get ones that have a closed back like these, over the ears, closed back, which are perfect for tracking, for working late nights, not having to worry about your neighbors. It's great for mixing due to its consistency, and you don't have to worry about, and starting out, you don't have to worry about purchasing studio monitors, which are very expensive, that are typically paired with acoustic treatment due to wanting to control the sound in the room if you're spending a lot of money on studio monitors, which we will talk about in a little bit. Now, when looking for a great pair of headphones, you want to make sure that they have a consistent flat EQ response, and no added bass or treble. Now, having a flat EQ response is great for mixing and mastering. It makes it consistent across, it makes your song consistent across all platforms. Now, I currently use these Sennheiser HD 280 Pros and have been using these for about 10 years now. They last a very long time. I highly recommend you trying them out. It's about right under $100 and worth every single penny. Get some headphones. I'm telling you, it is worth it. You don't have to get these particularly, but get headphones. It's important. Every studio needs one. Get some headphones.
Item 6, studio monitors and acoustic treatment.
Now, if you're building a home recording studio to become a mixing or mastering engineer and have the extra cash, I recommend buying studio monitors along with acoustic treatment. Again, studio monitors are not absolutely necessary. However, if you are serious about becoming a professional mixing engineer, they typically need 3 or more references to make sure the song or album is consistent across all platforms. Now, these references usually consist of headphones, car speakers, iPhone earbuds, and of course the studio monitors. Now, when choosing studio monitors, you also want to make sure, like the headphones, you want to make sure they have a flat EQ response and no added bass or treble. I also recommend getting between a 5-inch and 8-inch speaker, which I'm talking about the actual diameter of the speaker, depending on the size of your room. Now, I have a very small studio setup. You can see there's a door right behind me. There's only a couple feet in front of me. So I typically use the 5-inch speaker without a subwoofer. I don't need a subwoofer. This room's too small to have a subwoofer. I would have huge issues with bass response with a subwoofer. But I use the 5-inch in diameter studio monitor speaker, and they're called I use the JBL MK2 studio monitors. They work great. Been using them for a very long time as well. Now, after buying studio monitors, you probably want to get some acoustic treatment right after. If you're buying studio monitors, you have the money to do that, go ahead and save enough for acoustic treatment. It's worth it. Because of minor sound issues you'll probably have in the room. You might have some bass buildup in the corner, causing the room to be muddy, and in return it makes it difficult to EQ or mix anything. The room might be echoing too much, there might be too much vibration, making it very difficult to do any recording whatsoever. Some people get acoustic treatment mixed up with soundproofing. You're not soundproofing a room. I can still go outside, close the door, and hear the music going on in here. You're simply placing acoustic panels or acoustic foam strategically within the room for more sound control. This will help with the bass response, the echoing in the room, vibrations, basically adds control, and it's perfect for when you are constantly mixing and mastering, especially on a professional level. You want to be as consistent as possible. Now, the acoustic treatment you see behind me is actually the Prime Acoustic London kit. Comes in a 12-piece kit. It will be in the description below, but I'll also list some cheaper options that work just as great. Depending on what you're looking for and how big your room is, what the issues that you might have. Because everybody's different. But if you're just starting out, I would definitely get something either cheaper or just add, furniture in the room. Like a bed would work great. It absorbs a lot of sound and helps dampen the echo and vibration if you're working in a bedroom. A closet full of clothes, putting a blanket up in front of the window to help with reflections, and all of that would also help. So it depends on you and your budget.
Item 7, the Midi Controller.
Have you ever been in the mood to create some awesome, crazy synth effects or drop in a custom beat, but don't want to take the time to manually drag and drop and program every little thing in? Now, this tool cuts the time of manual programming and allows you to just hit the record button and press play, which is awesome. Now, having a MIDI keyboard is like having any instrument you can think of at your fingertips. It is the perfect tool for creativity. Now, MIDI keyboards usually have software and plugins that come in a bundle when you purchase it, so it makes it a lot easier to come up with any sound, synth, effect you can possibly imagine due to the software working so well with that specific MIDI keyboard. Now, I'll have a list of keyboards in the description below. MIDI keyboards are very simple to use. Literally, all you have to do is plug it in with a USB cable, download some drivers, and change one setting in your DAW. It is that simple. Now, I'm definitely a fan of any tool that cuts programming time and maximizes creativity. All right, we have all the tools we need to start creating and producing music. Maybe all we need to do right now is plug in our audio interface and play something funky, Matman style.
For the microphone. This is a test. It's 'cause I can't sing. We're testing on the microphone. Yes, you can record on this microphone. Alright, let's get funky. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where are the other drugs going? Harvey Dent, can we trust him? I'm Batman. Yeah.
Hopefully by now you're feeling a little bit more inspired, or you might be feeling a little bit overwhelmed. That's okay too. Give yourself some time. Now, it took me years to collect all this equipment. I didn't get it all in one day. It'd be way too much for me, and I wouldn't know where to start and where to begin. I wish I had a video like this to show me. Now, I only started with a crappy laptop that I already owned, along with a cheap audio interface that came with a free DAW. And then I was able to learn, build, and grow from there. Now, just know that it doesn't take a lot of money and equipment to have a professional home studio that sounds like a multi-million-dollar studio. Now, of course, there's a learning curve, and good music doesn't happen overnight. But if you give yourself time and patience of learning how to use these tools effectively, you'll never be able to spend you'll never have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to create good quality professional music. Now, I'm curious to know, what gear do you currently have in your studio? Is there a tool that you would recommend that I did not mention in this video? Please let me know in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to check out the list of gear recommendations in the video description. Now, I do want to thank you for watching this video, and if you do want to support this channel, please subscribe and be on the lookout for episode 2 of this How to Make Music at Home series coming out very, very soon. Thank you again. This is the Mattman Studio, and I'll see you next time.